See, I'm farsighted in one side, one eye, and your side in the other, so like I said, 20/20 or better, except at night driving. So they give me glasses to make both eyes.
All right, I'm gonna call this meeting to order. We do not have a chairman or vice chairman, so we will entertain a motion for chairman.
I'm not a voting member, but I'll nominate Mr. Harrison.
Second.
Until if Mr. shows up.
All right, we'll go ahead and take that one. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, Mr. Harrison.
All right, October the 14th, 2025, a little past 6:30. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Mr. Hyde, would you give the invocation for us, please?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day that you have given us, and we pray, Lord, that as we conduct the business of this county, of this great county tonight, that you will give us the wisdom and the discernment to make the right decisions. We pray these things in thy name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. We have recognition of the public. And we normally do the minutes first.
It's not how it, you approve the agenda.
Yeah, we
so-
approved the agenda, so we'll approve the minutes, I guess, after the. So first off, we have Mr. Brad Williams.
Hello again, Brad Williams, 1916, Highway 31. Once again, representing the volunteer fire departments. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. Y'all know the needs. I'm not gonna get into the needs of the fire department because you know there are plenty. The only thing I just want to remind you before we get into this tonight is, as far as legally I've been able to see, there is no 50% limit on any donations. There are, out of the 96 whatever counties there is in Tennessee, there are over 40 or 50 that do nonprofit donations the whole way 100%. There are multiple that do over millions of dollars, not just a single, multiple million. So there's a lot of precedent out there for donating to the fire department as a nonprofit donation to continue this. We are asking for the additional $400,000 to bring us up to the $100,000 per station number, or whatever you decide is what you would like to give us. I can tell you from experience that the budgets that we're getting now currently, the 660, is what one small fire department municipality gets. So spreading that over 13 stations and 9 different departments as you split it up doesn't go very far. Even the $1 million, I'll be honest with you, if you split it up 13 ways, it doesn't stretch nearly as far as you'd imagine it would. Especially when buying one apparatus now is upwards of $750,000 at the cheapest. And I can tell you, I just went through that process. So the needs are great. It's completely legal to do it as much as you want, and there's a lot of precedent. We have a bunch of numbers on that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of us in the audience if you have any questions or needs tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I know I'm gonna mess this name up. Henry DeGroot.
Oh, you did good.
I'd rather be lucky than good.
Yeah, well, unless you talk to my grandfather, who's Dutch, he'd tell you it's short. But I wouldn't hold you to that standard. I'm new to these.
State your name and address for the record,
Thank you.
please.
My name is Henry DeGroot. I've lived in Gallatin for about 11 years. I reside at 1034 Lakeshore Drive.
Thank you.
I have prepared some comments for tonight. As I have heard from some of the firefighters here in the audience and some of my friends, I think a lot of what I'm going to say here is redundant. So I'm probably going to shoot through this. So I'm here to address the importance of adequately funding Sumner County volunteer fire departments, or as identified in the public documents as rural fire protection. Just for background, I am a retired firefighter. I've spent 40 years, I have 40 years of experience working and managing almost every facet of fire service and emergency management. I retired as a battalion chief. I As I said, admittedly a newcomer to these proceedings. I'm not completely familiar with how the funding mechanism works or the history of previous funding discussions for the county's volunteer departments. It has been my experience in 40 years that all fire departments, whether they're career, volunteer, city, county, state, or federal, they all have unique operational needs. They have unique hazards that they face, unique funding and staffing challenges. Despite that, they all deal with the following commonalities. A free burning fire will double in size in 30 seconds, every 30 seconds. That's probably even faster these days because there's more combustible materials in the construction products and there's more combustible materials inside the house. But the general rule of thumb is that a free burning fire will double in size every 30 seconds. A person in respiratory arrest who stopped breathing will have significant brain damage within 4 to 5 minutes. In 10 to 15 minutes, brain death is likely. You now move from a clinical death to a biological death. Clinical death is reversible. Biological death is not. You have roughly 10 to 15 minutes to keep biological death from happening. Firefighters, whether they're career or volunteer, will go rushing in where everyone else is rushing out. Firefighters do this regardless of your gender, your race, your political affiliation, etc. Firefighters believe that everyone deserves adequate and appropriate fire and life safety protection, whether you live within the city limits or you live in a rural setting. Population growth is inevitable. I came from a jurisdiction that went from, when I started my career, we were roughly 500,000. By the time I retired 30 years later, we were at 1.2 million. I've seen growth. I know what growth does, and I know the pressure that it puts on infrastructure. The time to prepare for the growth is now, or while it's happening, not after it's happened. You can't go in after developments have been built and decide that you want a fire station here, or that you need to reconfigure the boundaries of some response area. It's got to happen while the growth or before the growth is happening. Most people don't realize that more hazardous materials are transported on our surface roads and rail lines than ever before. I mean, there's 50,000 pounds of gasoline, multiple tankers going up and down the road and up and down the rail lines, and if something happens, it's the first responders who are going to be the first ones in there to try to mitigate it, and that includes these volunteers. Now, for the biggest difference between career and volunteer firefighters is that the volunteers do this without any compensation. They face all the same risks without compensation. All they ask is some financial support to allow them to complete their missions. I don't believe that's too much to ask. I've heard the argument that city dwellers don't want to have to subsidize fire protection in rural areas. Well, who among us hasn't traveled through county areas, rural areas, either to get to family, to see relatives, to get to another city, to even go shopping in those rural areas? Most accidents happen away from home. And if you're traveling in those rural areas, it's these volunteers here that are going to come if you have a medical incident or some sort of a vehicle accident, or God forbid you're visiting somebody else's house and a house fire starts. It's these volunteers are going to provide service for you. Even though you live in the city of Hendersonville or Gallatin and you pay taxes to that fire department, your accident, if it happens away from home, which typically it does, it's going to be departments like this are going to come to your aid. I want to just reiterate the need for adequate funding and adequate training and adequate equipment for these volunteers who provide this service to you 24/7, 365, and without any compensation, and all they ask is financial support to be able to do their job. Thank you.
Thank you. Brooklyn White.
Hello, my name is Brooklyn White. I live at 933 Sunset Drive in Gallatin. It's also my first time coming to this, so bear with me. I'm not nearly as qualified as Henry to talk about the fire department or the volunteer fire departments or the work that they're doing, but I just wanted to listen in and advocate for them. I've done some reading recently about the Gallatin Volunteer Fire Department and some of the stuff that they've gone through with their engines being down, with storm damage they've sustained to their buildings. I know that they don't have like sinks and things like that or full running bathrooms in their spaces, and I also know they're working full-time, putting their time into that, and some of them are here tonight to talk. So I just want to encourage you to kind of prioritize that. I know that our property taxes, our insurance, all of those kinds of things are subject to go up when there are more risks. They're not going to want to cover us for the same amount of money that we're paying a month if the risks to them and the risks to our properties and our things are greater. And I know that having well-funded emergency and fire services are a big portion of that. If we're not able to properly address those things, if they're not able to respond to incidents for us, if there's an increased risk to our safety, then our insurance is gonna go up for our tenants, it's gonna go up for the landlords, it's gonna go up for our property owners. It doesn't really matter where you live at that point because of those time responses he was talking about. So I just want to encourage that. I would like to see that budget passed for them. The second thing I want to talk about is just the election commission budget. I saw there's a budget in there for the election commission. I've kind of been following some of that, and I know that because of our growth, we're going to need something like 9 new precincts. I imagine that's going to be very expensive to be able to do that. And so I was hearing and reading that the proposals for convenience voting, that would allow us to essentially still do what you do for early voting. So for early voting, you show up, you tell them your address, you can vote. But same day, election day voting, you have to go within your precinct. So adding 9, I would imagine it's going to be a whole lot more expensive than this what seems to be a one-time budget increase to make that convenience voting happen. I think voting turnout is really important. It's abysmal in our county, it's abysmal in our state, but the commission is here because they voted for us, so we need to prioritize that. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Curtis Williams.
Hello. All right, so once again, I'm not a member of the fire department. I'm just a citizen, just going to throw some numbers and stuff at you. Currently, you're funding the fire departments for about $3.25 per citizen in the county. We're asking it to go up to about $5 to $6 per citizen. Hendersonville and Gallatin city residents pay over $200 per citizen per year for fire protection. So we're not talking about equal services. We're not trying to get paid full-time guys. We're not trying to get to where we have brand new stations everywhere. They're literally just trying to get the minimum. The amount of money that y'all are voting on tonight would just give them NFPA standards as far as capital improvements. They have to have a fire truck within 15 years old in order to get ISO rating. They have to have a tanker within 15 to 20 years old to get an ISO rating. And they have to have gear that's within 10 years old in order to get an ISO rating. They're all going to be re-rated. Half of the departments are up for being re-rated on their ISOs in June of 2026. Currently, it takes 1.5 to 2 years from the time you order a fire truck to the time it actually arrives. So you're talking $1.3 million every 15 years in order to keep engines and tankers that are within NFPA guidelines. So literally the $100,000 per station per year that you would vote on tonight would just be enough to cover an engine, a tanker, and gear at each station. That does not include hose testing, pump testing that's required every single year. Every hydrant inside of their zone, they have to test every single year for free. They don't get paid to do any of this stuff. That does not include maintenance on their trucks. That does not include maintenance on their stations. Half the department, all but 5 stations are owned by the fire departments. So there are some stations that y'all do provide to the departments, but a lot of these departments pay for their own stations. A lot of them don't have water to be able to wash their hands or use the bathroom inside of their stations. They can't stay the night there. They're not meant for living quarters in a lot of these departments, so it's not like they can stay overnight in case there's a call. This is just the bare minimum. Also, there is a fire tax committee I know that's being put on next month at the Health and Emergency Services Committee. I'm hoping that this goes through where that is not as necessary. Honestly, it still would be if you wanted full-time guys or even pay per call or something to help us in that idea. But at least this would get them to where they can pass their ISO ratings Because I think what she was trying to say a few minutes ago is if these ISO ratings are re-rated a year and a half from now, and they have the equipment and the response that they have right now, a lot of these departments will go up to a 9 or a 10 ISO, which means every citizen outside of city limits is going to pay double, if not dropped from their insurance companies. If you don't believe me, go ask anybody that lives anywhere close to Cross Plains, Tennessee right now. Every one of them still has an ISO of 10. A lot of them still have not got good insurance. A lot of them have paid a lot more than they were paying. Some of them still don't even have homeowners insurance. So this is not something that we're just begging for because it's a luxury. This is needed for the fire departments and the citizens of the county. So anything you can do to help, I know they would appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Approval of the minutes, September the 8th.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Well, report of the budget chairman. I am not the budget chairman. So without objection, I'm going to skip that for right now because he's not here. Unless somebody, Mr. Long, do you want to speak to the 45,000?
We've actually got the sheriff here to talk about it too. He can talk about it in more detail.
Without objection, we'll suspend the rules and have Sheriff Craddock come up and speak about this retention bonus.
Sure, this is flow-through money from the state. The governor put out an $800 salary supplement for guys who went through 2024, assigned as an SRO, and completed the requirements and training. And so in the emails is the amount and the appropriation form has all of the benefits included.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Flow through won't need a second reading, so.
Okay. Motion carries. Report of the county mayor. No report, Mr. Chairman. Report of the finance director.
Page number 14 just states that the September financial statements for the county will be available on the website by October 20th, or this coming Monday at the commission meeting. Item number 2 is just a letter from the approval from the comptroller's office for the budget. They had a few notes. One was that the budget was approved after June 30, and then they had a few comments that was more related to the schools than the county. If nobody has any questions, I'll go on to the next item. Number C, as we discussed, and it was budgeted.
I would be interested to know what the comments were in regards to.
There was 3 comments, and really 2 of them were very close related. The first one, which was mentioned back in the budget cycle, is the general purpose school fund budgeted $60,439,487 of its fund balance, and that $51,328,331 is being used for recurring expenditures. The second comment was that the gist of it is the central cafeteria funds presented one way in the financials and budgeted the other way. And the third comment is 2 things. One, that they should budget those the same, and the other one was that the county commission does not have a formal policy for the school, the general purpose school funds fund balance, and that they should, that they do recommend adopting one to govern the school's fund balance. That was the last item on
Can
the
you repeat the first one?
amount of fund balance.
The first one. This one. You don't have to get the exact pennies.
They're saying
Round off to the nearest million.
60.4 million of total fund balance and 51.3 of reoccurring. But if you recall, last year they used a significant amount too. They didn't dip into it.
51 million of their
Fund balance.
fund balance is on recurring expenses.
Yes, sir.
And on the last one there,
Yes.
on the last one there, what were they wanting us to do, and what authority do we have over the fund balance?
That would be a question. You do have their budgetary control to approve or reject their budget, but here's their exact words. During a review of the budget, we became aware that your local government does not have a formal fund balance policy for the general purpose school fund. We recommend the governing body adopt a fund balance policy for all funds with a requirement to paying not less than 2 months of the regular operating revenues or expenditures for operating funds. You do have a policy for the general fund, but you do not have one for the general purpose school fund. As far as the legal authority, you do approve their budget, but that would be more of a question for the law director or possibly the comptroller's office of what they exactly meant by that. Since, not to put the law director on the spot, and since he didn't write it, it may be a question for the comptroller's office to interpret that. What
Could
is
you
it?
get that for us?
Who wrote the letter? Yeah, I can write her an email this Thursday asking her to cite what authority. Or that you're requesting for basically them to retract it. if there's no
And
authority.
basically, if we looked at a policy, what that should include, what she's talking about.
We have one for the county general fund, and what they're saying is you should have a policy that requires them to not maintain less than 2 months of regular operating revenues. If you remember, they're only maintaining, what is it, a much lower percent in there. They're saying, what I'm reading into, they're recommending 2 months in the reserves. But I will email her to ask for clarification on the authority, or does the committee wish for me, if she can't cite the authority, to ask her to retract the amount on the letter?
Mr. Mayor, and I guess also, and I think you kind of alluded to this, but maybe if they have a model policy, so we understand the verbiage, exactly what they're looking for.
We actually have one for the general fund front that's based
So
on.
we can mirror that one.
It's based on the GFOA policy, except yours is a little stricter than that, talks about changes. But you could take the 212s portion and kind of pare it down. And then I can pull you a GFOA sample too, they have best practices. Write that down. But, the next item, back on here on track, is the arbitrage rebate. I think everybody that's been in the committee understands arbitrage is excess earnings you earn from taxable versus non-taxable. We can only earn so much. We've had really good interest earnings, and we have sizable debt service. So back in the budget cycle, I discussed this. We were going to have to pay back arbitrage rebate. The exact amount there is, just for your information, $151,622. We budgeted quite a bit more than that, because you're probably going to have another small one, but I think they're estimating it somewhere around $10,000 or $20,000.
Just for clarification, where do we pay that back to?
The Internal Revenue Service or the United States Treasury.
Got it.
And the reason they have that rule is they don't want, for instance, if there was no rules and I thought the rates were going to go up, I could go issue a large amount of tax-exempt bonds, invest them in taxable, and make money. They don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
So when you say that we had budgeted quite a bit more than the 151,000,
I believe it was maybe 200,000. It's quite a bit more, so it's.
okay, so that would go back into our general fund?
Yes, what we don't use, yeah.
Okay.
But we didn't know the exact amount, and the interest rates are up and down, so we weren't sure how much. And the interest were a little stronger, projected to be stronger.
Okay.
The next couple items are just transfers. There are no new money. The first one's payroll. They're all small, and I'll probably be best for me just to let you read through A, B, C, and D to see if anybody has any questions on those. They're so small.
One question, what's a termed employee? I've not heard that term yet.
Terminated. They
Oh,
quit.
terminated.
And terminated doesn't necessarily mean fires. It means they may have quit,
Okay,
been fired, retired, anything. You're
They've
terminated.
reached the
when you
end
do
of
that.
their term.
Right. In whatever form, it don't necessarily mean fired. That's what a lot of people read into that.
all right.
I don't know if this person was or was not. I don't believe that they were.
Could have been.
Could have been, but I don't know for sure. But, the next item is I'm sorry,
Do you need a motion to group and approve those?
you can group and approve 1 and 2, or do them separately, do we go on over 2?
I'll make a motion to group and approve.
Yeah.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
One
opposed?
and two.
The 1 and 2?
Yes.
Okay. And then page 55 through 56, and it's a large drawn out. This is actually carried over by the software system. It's for POs that were issued at the end of the year for things that you've already approved and budgeted that just weren't completed. The items didn't come in. There's a large group, and we're required to carry them over by gap, so we don't put a whole lot of detail in them. But we have got this here for your informational purposes. We do that every year. 56. And then page 57 is a letter that I received from the city of Hendersonville. And 58 and 59, I have highlighted portions where you discussed it. And before I sent anything back to the mayor, because he is requesting a response, I was gonna send him back the minutes, but I wanted to make sure the minutes were approved first, if that was the response you wanted to send.
We made a motion in legislative to, ask, Mr. Sumner to reach out to the city to see what their plan was regarding the, their portion of the money and what they planned on spending it on as far as the building is concerned. So I don't know how much of overlap you've got here, so.
Would it be okay if the committee, if I just emailed Mayor Clary next week and just told him that Mr. Sittler was gonna be getting in touch with him?
I think that would be appropriate. Does anybody object to that? Without objection?
I didn't wanna leave him hanging. I didn't wanna leave him hanging out there from nobody responding to him.
Understand.
And that is the end of my report, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Old business, update on the parking garage debacle with the city of Gallatin. Anybody got an update on that?
My understanding, there's an email here that it's going to Gen Ops in November.
Okay.
Unless somebody.
Anything for us to do here?
No, sir, I think it's for informational, the way you'll know when it comes back from Gen Ops.
All right.
Good. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Just a comment. My understanding, the Franklin Street portion of that is completely, is done. And now there's just the question about this crosswalk.
The crosswalk.
Yes, sir.
The lighted crosswalk.
And it was on my understanding, and it's down in Gen Ops, is it was on the original plan sent to the city, and the last page over there includes it, so that's why it was forwarded to Gen Ops to deal with and send it back to budget.
Any other discussion on that item? Yes, sir.
I'm trying to remember last week's Gen Ops, that we talked about it. And what, I don't know who else is, who was on Gen Ops.
I wasn't there.
I'm just trying to remember this one.
I'm trying to remember, like, I know we talked about it, or they talked about it. I don't know, I can't recall what I'm assuming they did some action to send it back to budget. I don't know, we want to ping pong this back and forth, but.
I don't want to misspeak, but because I made a note here when I talked to Scott after the meeting, my understanding was it's going to be back discussed in November in Gen Ops. But they must have discussed it, not come to a resolution to send it back.
Talk to who?
Scott, because he goes to the meetings from finance. Project manager.
That's Scott. I was thinking.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Sorry.
all right,
Scott,
I just want to make sure we weren't.
Shamrock.
I got
Scott
you.
Shamrock.
Yes,
Because I got
yes,
a
yes.
note here in red after I talked to him, it says Gen Ops in November, but
Okay.
I can text him or have Beth text him if we want more information.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure before we just moved on, so, okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Item B, under old business, assessor property, I'm assuming this is a software agreement. I saw the assessor here, if there's any questions for him.
Page 72 gives you your amounts by year, if that's helpful. He's already got it budgeted, he's just asking for multi-year, requires commission's approval.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I went through all that documentation there, and I'm still trying to figure out what this thing is.
Let me tell you my part. Right now, he's already got it budgeted, he's asking for multiple years. And I understand somewhat what it's for, but the actual assessor's back there, so you may want to suspend the rules and ask him.
Without
details.
objection, we'll ask the assessor property to come up and explain.
What was the question?
What is this program? I read through it and it never clearly stated what it's used for.
Yes, this is a hosted software that we've been using for years. And it's for bringing up comparables of properties
Okay.
that have actual sales that happen within the county, okay? These are not like Zillow sales or probable Zillow sales or Redfin or all that. These are actual sales that happen within the county that we can input the address of the subject property and it will pull up comparables around in the specified area above that property so that we can compare what values are looking like within that area against that also that subject property.
And that's Tennessee state law that when you do a reassessment, it's based on comps, right?
Well, yeah, reappraisals are based on, it's just based on market sales, absolutely.
So this is an absolute necessity for the assessor's office.
This is a very beneficial tool that we use within the assessor's office.
What is your option if you didn't have this?
We don't have one at the time, at this time.
That they've used it for several years, David. It's just a multi-year agreement. The commission has to approve any multi-year agreements.
Yeah,
Yes.
They've used it for several years now.
yeah. It's what kicked my property tax up $600 in a net neutral year.
We'll come back under the rules. We've got a motion to approve from Mr. Hyde. I'll second it. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. This is a budget amendment 2 left over from the September commission meeting. I'll move to approve it.
Second.
Can you waive the second on
Oh, sorry.
On
these?
on the previous one or?
No, this one right
On
here.
this one, okay, all right, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, waive the second reading. Now we're under new business. Budget amendments 2, the Board of Education.
It'll need a second waiver too.
This is not the same budget amendment 2 that we just passed.
One was from last month, one from this month.
Gotcha,
Two different ones.
exactly. It's just coincidental.
Because the last month one was carried over.
I'll make a motion to approve it, to get it on the floor.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion?
Yes.
Commissioner Klein.
I find these educational allocations and transfers to be incredibly vague. All I can, I think, tell from budget amendment number 2 is it looks like they're bringing on an employee for $315,000. But I couldn't tell if it was one employee or 2 employees, but I don't know what it's for. The information is so vague, and there's lots of dollar amounts, and salaries, Social Security, pensions, but I have no earthly idea what this is for, and I know it's probably a no new money transfer. Is it?
It's the,
Yes.
if we're talking about budget amendment 2, so on page 97, this is for the lottery for education after-school programs, LEAP. So these are, items 2 and 3 are, it's no new money at all on either one of these. So these passed unanimously through through education last week. Katie Brown with the Safe Schools is what the LEAP program is. That's budget amendment 2, and then budget amendment 3 is, I think it was Andy Brown, no, Chase Moore, I'm sorry. Chase Moore and CTE, again, reallocating fund, no new money on either one of those.
Okay, so it's lottery for education after-school programs. So the breakdowns that have salaries and, Social Security funds, what does that all have to do with?
Additional funds.
I mean, is this
It's not one employee, it's spread across a whole lot of lines. If you look like the one on page 100, it's just adding $11,000 to their salaries and wages. It's not a huge amount in the lines.
Okay, and
Just a bunch of them.
And does anybody else have as much trouble understanding what this is for as I do? I mean, I have no earthly idea.
The way I understand it, and David, please correct me if I'm wrong, they use a lot of this lottery money to cover a variety a portion of multiple salaries and multiple expenses relating to employees.
That's my understanding without contacting them directly.
Right.
But, I mean, my thought is it's been through education. If you could vote through tonight, and if you have questions, answer before the night of the commission, and then you could vote against it then if you didn't.
Okay.
That may be the best thing, that way to at least keep everything kind of moving to the floor.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure David is 100% what Mr. Harrison just said, but,
Yeah, it just seems like they could do a better job of explaining it in the documentation, what this is for. I mean, I've been through, you gave me the chart of accounts when I first became a commissioner. I've been through it, and in a lot of cases, it doesn't help me.
my understanding, they're using the lottery funds to fund the after-school program, so they're doing for workers, for supplies, for whole kinds of costs. And the way it looks, they probably had some leftover money or additional money, and they need money anyway, so they went ahead and budgeted it in.
Mhm.
But I hate to speak for them, but that's what I understand what's going on, and the 315, if you look, it's spread over several lines, but I hate
Right.
speaking for somebody else, but that's what it looks like to me.
Right, okay.
Motion second on the floor. Any more discussion?
Can you wait on all this?
And this is to waive, also approve and waive the second reading. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Budget amendment, I don't think we grouped and approved those, so budget amendment number 3 for the CPE.
These appear to be carryover funds from last year. That's what this next one, David. That helps. It's what they didn't spend last year that has to be spent on this program.
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. Am I correct, and this is 8,184,000? There was a bottom
No,
line.
sir, that's the next, that's for that lease. This thing's about, I believe, $100,000 or so. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
so,
the next one's those leases that you approved as a debt report to the state.
okay, all right.
Yes, sir.
Those
It's
questions.
small, but it will need a waive the second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Comptroller's report.
The comptroller's requesting, it does need to be, if you look on the actual form, reported to the county commission. This is for the iPads that was approved last month because it's a lease. They do have to do a debt form, and it has to be presented to the governing board. If you look on page 117.
My understanding is this is gonna be cheaper on us than buying them like we were doing.
Yeah, and this is, the full commission approved this unanimously last month.
They're just asking for this to be spread.
Do I?
The state's just asking for it to be presented and spread.
No, I understand, I'm just
But it's
reminding
for
people.
informational purposes only.
Oh,
Yes, sir, it just needs to be on the agenda spread.
Got it.
Let me read the verbiage. Make sure.
So do we need to, did I understand you say we need to approve this? or-
Well, just the same, it says, file this report with members of the governing body no later than 45 days after disclosure. So I think you just need to vote to forward it on to docket it, since you've already approved the issuance.
Okay, I'll make a motion to forward on the docket.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
That's part of that.
Volunteer fire department, this is a new item, we hadn't talked about this before.
Here's the amount, it's 100,000. What's that, 8 million? The entire program, not the adjustment.
Well, I made the motion on the floor, so I'll make a motion to approve it.
Is this,
This is the
this is
100,000.
beyond what we had originally, and would you repeat the amount?
100,000 per station, which I believe would be about 1.3 million.
1.3 million.
Yes, sir.
How much is in there right now?
I don't want to seem like the person that constantly throws up a red flag on this, but we went through a budget session. We talked about what we needed to do. We came with a budget, and I might say the budget was already beyond what we were getting in funds for the county revenues. And my fear, with not just volunteer fire department, but with many of these accounts, my fear is that we're not walking toward a tax increase. We are racing toward a tax increase. And many people who are watching us tonight think that we had a big tax increase years ago, which I did not vote for, but we had a big tax increase and that we've been living off that. What we've been living off is additional property tax coming in, additional sales tax coming in. We get a lot of money coming in. And what this government has not been doing is adopting a budget within the revenues. We have not. Within the revenues coming in. We're getting very close to talking about tax increase. I've even heard our chairman talk about maybe we can put it off a year or two or three.
Budget chairman.
Budget chairman.
I just want to make sure.
I have a real problem, especially with something after we've adopted a budget that's already beyond what I think is fiscally sound, bumping it up even further. I understand there's a need, but where we sit here, there is a need in schools, there is a need in volunteer fire departments, there is a need in libraries, there is a need in the health department, there's a need all over this county, sheriff's department, and we just had to look at all of that. And we've not been making the adjustments that we should. I cannot vote for this.
Well, my motion is actually dead for lack of a second, so.
Oh, I'll second
You'll second it?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I agree with you, we are racing toward tax increase, but, you know, this money all comes out of one pair of pants, it's different pockets. In the same night, we approved a $6 million increase to the maintenance of effort for the schools. They gave back $17 million that they didn't use from the previous year. If we see houses and structures in the county that because of ISO increase to 10 or so, and people can't even get fire insurance, that's a major problem too. I agree with you. We stretched the budget as far as we possibly could, and probably too far this last time. But I think what the VFDs are asking for is and I really think it's a stopgap. I think we put together this ad hoc, and I think we can really come up with some great ideas that will take the load off of the county budget once again, because I think it's a matter of educating the population that they need to give to the VFDs. But here again, I would have to consult with our financial director. If we have the money, I think we're risking very dangerous territory if we don't give them something what they need, because I'm very concerned about the ISO ratings. If we're getting reassessed in June, and we see, you know, I live at the county, and so if the ISO goes up, my house insurance goes way up, and I just feel differently about it than you do, Mr. Hyde. But I think because these buckets of money come from different areas. I think we just need to reassess how we're doing things, and I would be in favor of this
Was
increase.
that addressed to me earlier? The thing is, you came in with a balanced budget by moving money from debt service, which is reoccurring, but at some point that's gonna run out.
Right.
What you gotta remember is your budget's got so much revenue and expenses, so there's opportunity cost. You're making choices.
Mm-hmm.
You made a choice last year here and there to spend the money to balance the budget. So anything you come back now, you're taking out of the pot and it's gonna come from your unassigned. So next year, you're gonna have to make it up by cuts, new growth, or new taxes, or redistributing. Or you're gonna take it from your one-time reserve, which is the worst move of all three. But either way, it's kind of, we're talking about the 400,000 or 500,000, and I've already compared 4 or 5 was spent here or there, but you didn't have $1 million, you've only had 500,000, so.
Yeah, well, don't we have 600 that we've already given them?
650.
650?
So you're gonna be looking, if you're gonna try to make them $1 million, you're looking at another $450,000, or was that about a little over a
It's
third
a-
of a penny?
Is it?
Is it 650 already in there?
It's 650 going to another 650.
No, they want 650 more, so you're talking about near over half a penny. I mean,
Commissioner Becker.
Remind me what the full commission voted on this past month.
Just send this, to
But-
defer this to budget.
But
There's
I thought it was
100,000 per.
approved, I thought we approved something and then we deferred it back to the budget for the remainder.
Yeah, it seems to me
But,
Commissioner Mansfield went for 90, and then Mr. Harrison, didn't you go for 100?
Because his, and the reason why I stated that was because his motion for 90 was several months ago. And we know with inflation, everything has gone up, and so I was just trying to get ahead of that.
I got you.
But I'm trying to recall what I don't think we voted and approved the 90.
No.
I think we approved.
Yours was an amendment to
Something.
the 90. Yeah.
you approved the money that was brought forward to be allocated. Remember they had the money.
Oh, yeah.
You allocated it, and then the
Okay,
discussion came
yeah.
in with the 90, the 100,
I got
and the
you.
commission sent it
That's
all back
right.
to budget.
That's right. So
Yeah.
we allocated it.
The
and then-
existing.
I got you. Okay, sorry. Thanks.
Without objection, I'm going to turn over the parliamentary direction of this meeting to the chairman, but I'd like to get in queue if that's okay.
And that's okay,
The
and
actual
I
chairman.
apologize here, so mea culpa, I had this on my calendar for Thursday, so thank you to Sheriff Craddock for giving me a call. So I apologize for being late, and go ahead, you're in queue.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with anything that, I keep wanting to call you Chairman Hyde. I don't disagree with anything that Mr. Hyde has said. He's absolutely right.
He is.
I would stipulate this, that if their ISO ratings go up and their insurance rates go up, it's the same pockets that the money's coming out of. It's just going to the insurance companies rather than to the county. And that's kind of where my thought process is they're still gonna be spending money. I don't disagree with what Mr. Pomeroy has said before. We're already in the fire business. We're just in it very poorly.
Before I move on, what is the motion on the floor, or is there a motion on the floor?
There's a motion second for the 1.3 million.
For the full one, for 1.3 million, of which we have done 650,000 now, so it's about,
$650,000.
so it's about double it.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Becker.
Just to possibly make a clarification of Mr. Harrison's comment is the ISO rating going up, it being more expensive. While I agree, it's not the same pockets because these pockets are residents of cities as well.
That's right.
So it's not quite the same pocket. It's one hand in this pocket and one hand in
Of course,
someone else's
those
pocket.
same pockets pay for county roads.
Correct. I just wanted to clarify, it's not the exact same pockets. So
I'm gonna get in my own queue. Is there anybody else in queue? I'm gonna get in my own queue after being late. I'm gonna come in and run my mouth here. So, when we had on the floor a motion, and I think it nearly passed to, I believe, request to the state to allow us to, I know this is different from this, but let me state why I'm asking this. I contend that this is nothing but kicking a can down the, 650,000, 1.3 million is nothing but kicking a can down the road. Because I agree with Mr. Pomeroy's statement. that we're just ended badly. So, and you know, I've heard the volunteer fire departments have stated on several occasions, you know, that the majority of the state, of the counties in the states still use volunteer fire departments. I would also argue that Sumner County is one of probably 12 that are differently apportioned in terms of just population density. So and we've grown much faster, right, in areas that previously didn't have any residential population at all. So I would be, maybe this is a question or we can bring it back up, but I believe that vote failed to move that to the state. I'd like to bring that up again. I might make an amendment from it, or is that parliamentarily allowed since this is a separate thing? I mean, I'd like to revisit that. I just don't see. Go ahead, Mr. Becker.
I would like to, I'm very curious what an ad hoc committee would ultimately propose.
Didn't we've
I think Health and Emergency Services, I don't know if it's been formed yet or.
I think they kicked it down the road.
There was one before as well.
Has Health and Emergency Services done anything? I saw Mr. Rogers outside coming in.
They met last week, but I don't recall.
Without objection, I'll suspend the rules, because we have, go ahead.
Yes, they put it off for another month to see what y'all would do tonight and to give the commissioners the opportunity to give suggestions to him for who would be on the committee. But I believe a lot of the thought process now is, if this doesn't happen, there's a necessity for a fire tax. This would, I'll leave it there.
Okay.
They put it off for a month.
Okay, so they bumped it for a month then. I mean, it sounds like we've been kicking this can for 20 years, and we're gonna kick it for another month, is what it sounds like. Well, I know how I'm gonna vote on this, and it's not that I have any, well, I think I know how I'm gonna vote on it. Mr. Long, you were mentioning this earlier, what is because let's not play around. If we do 650,000 now, it's gonna be a recurring thing. So what is the impact of 600, what is that, half a penny? So, you know.
We need to find the revenue at some point.
Yeah, so.
A debt service or a property tax.
It would come out of.
Ultimately debt service, but when you run out there, you're gonna have a property tax increase.
Right, that's the burn we've got. And we've got about, what, 9 cents, I think, left in there to play with. So, I think we've got about, to account for a little bit of growth in property taxes, you've got about 4 years burn.
If you don't need to issue.
If we
debt
don't
to
do
construct
anything
something,
nuts or increase more than what we've been expecting.
or have a large construction debt.
Mr. Klein and then Mr. Harrison.
But I will repeat the point. I don't know if you heard it, Matt, or not, but we gave 6 million increase in MOE for the schools the same night. They put 17 million back in the reserve fund. If we've got a school system that the population growth there has only increased 2,000 students. It's gone from 28,500 to 30,500 since 2014. And we continue to increase their MOE dramatically every year. You know, $6 million, and we're talking about 650,000. It's 10% of it. We couldn't reduce the school MOE increase by 10%.
I mean, I'll give my thoughts on this, because so the way 3 years ago now, just to kind of roll this back, Mr. Long, you and I had a discussion about this, about how the school revenues were being drawn out, which buckets they were coming from,
Mm-hmm.
property tax versus sales tax.
Mm-hmm.
And in my view, actually, and I think legally we're correct about this, you were the one that informed me about it, but I agreed with you after reading it. We were not giving sufficient amount of a sufficient percentage of our sales tax to the school. We were overpaying what we needed to do to the schools, give to the schools in order to make up from that, from the
Property
from the
tax?
property tax.
Okay.
So what we did that first year is we kept Evan MOE flat. And I know we're kind of off topic, but it's just important. I want to be super
Yeah,
clear
I
about
wanna understand it.
the rationale here. So we kept them flat for a year. They then had to draw down. They drew down 1 year. The next year after that, we reset them so that we reset the pennies so that they captured more sales tax. All of the additional that they caught this year, the 6 million, that was, I think it was every penny of that was from
Sales tax and property tax growth.
just growth. It wasn't, there were no new penny allocations. So I want to be real clear, there were no new penny allocation to the school, which in my view, all of this fight that we've had back and forth with the schools, we can end that for a long time if we just leave the penny allocations alone. As long as the schools don't come to us with, hey, we need $100 million for X, which they haven't done, and we don't try to just crush them, understanding also that they're under the gun by the state to get salaries up. So on a percentage-wise base, that 6 million increase was less than what we've given to other county departments on a percentage-wise increase, and because they're the largest employer. Now, your point about the school population growth is being flat is a fair point. However, here's the difference between the schools, the sheriff's department, and others versus the volunteer fire department. Volunteer. We are statutorily required to fund the school, schools. We're statutorily required to fund the sheriff's department. We're not statutorily required to fund the volunteer fire department. I'm not saying we shouldn't. In fact, I'm the one over here being, I think I'm trying to be honest about it, to say, hey, if we want to really do this right, we need to at least give the citizens a chance to say, hey, if you want professional fire service at the quality that you want to have it, here's what it's going to cost. That was the purpose of the ad hoc, which I don't know why we put it off for a month.
I don't either.
We want that number. This is what it's going to cost, and you guys vote on it. And if you don't, if the citizens don't want that, then we'll keep status quo. And what they're saying is we just want the status quo. But we want to give them an honest assessment. And until in my view, until I understand what the citizens out there want, I want to keep I would maybe be okay with a percentage-wise increase, but that's a 50%. That's a 100% increase here.
Shoot.
It's double. That's where I'm at. Sorry, I just talked too much. Any other notes on this one? Go ahead.
I want to ask a question, Mr. Long. Is there any way to project on October 14th how much debt service would be rolling off this year, number-wise?
Yeah, we know that. We did that back at the budget. We know the exact dollars. That's why we know there's about nine pennies when you did the budget, give or take a little bit, based on zero growth in your current debt structure. Now, if you decide you need to build a new school or something debt, then that's going to make that change significantly.
We got 4 years, 3 pennies a year, roughly 3.5 if you add in. You got 4 years.
Now, your whole last year you did come in better than estimated, but you can't guarantee that every year. We've had good years for several years now.
And if the ad hoc does their job, we won't have to contribute that money next year. I mean, if they really come up with some creative ways to get the people who live in those areas to properly fund it. I mean, I tell this story, but I was given about $300 a year until I found out about the ISO ratings, and I kicked it up to 5. Now, I know I'm a rare commodity. Any of these VFDs will tell you, nobody gives $500 a year. But they're only asking they're asking for $6 a person. That's $30 a household per year. That should not be a hard ask for these guys if the marketing is done properly. And I think it's all about education and people understanding ISO ratings. I would think, and some of them agree with me, that they would have money flooding in. I think it's a stopgap. That's why I'm in favor of it. I don't think it'll become permanent expense. I may be incredibly naive.
Oh, no, it'll be permanent.
I guess I'm naive.
Are there any other,
Cities.
so the motion on the floor then is for the 1.3. I'm gonna amend it, to down to an additional $60,000, 10%, $65,000, a 10% increase over what it is now. So my amendment is to come down from 1.3 million to 735,000. That's my amendment. Is there?
No, 715.
715. 715.
Sorry.
Yeah, that would be 715,000. Okay, motion fails. We ready to vote? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Motion fails. Okay, motion fails, carried. Opioid funds, $93,000 from restricted fund balance, $109,000 transfer with opioid account lines. I'd entertain a motion.
It'll need a second. Yeah, it'll need a, wait a second.
Second.
Well, I haven't motion for it. I tend to not.
Okay.
Anybody make a motion for this?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, do you waive the second?
And to also waive.
Okay.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Okay, County Mayor, Christmas donations. This one's gonna need a second reading as well.
It's in fund balance, so it'll need a second
Yeah.
reading, but it is flow through.
It's
It
flow,
went
yeah.
into reserve and back
So
out.
move with waive the second reading.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'm gonna move to defer the selection commission request for fund balance.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, deferred. Health Department, car seat grant,
Motion to approve.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it doesn't need to be saved, it's under
It's
two.
below and
It's
flow
below.
through. And it's flow through.
EMS, $3,978 from unassigned fund balance for ambulatory repairs. I'd entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Sheriff's Office, these are both grants. Recruitment and retention grant, $60,000. Entertain a motion.
Second.
Does this need, this is a flow through, this doesn't need a,
Flow throughs don't need a second.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. 7B,
Approve B through E.
yeah, if you'd like to make that motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Show up and things go fast.
That's going pretty fast.
These are pretty easy.
These are, I come in,
Don't pat
after
your-
you did all the work.
Don't break your arm patting yourself on the back.
I'm an hour late.
Coming in here talking smack.
Personnel policy. We had I'd entertain a motion on this.
So moved.
I'll second it, but I do have a question. What was the impact on this?
Okay, let me answer your question. What we're calculating, the annual impact for the whole year is somewhere below 54,000. The sheriff moved 50 in. He's not doing the whole year, so he has enough funds as far as we can tell, unless he has something different.
So there's no, we don't.
It's 53,792 is our guess. He put 50 in. It's not started yet or just started.
So it's
we-
like $3,000 difference.
For the whole year, but he's not doing the whole year, so he's
Okay.
good.
Anything next year, any projection?
It'll be, well, based if there's no raise or anything, we're thinking about $4,000.
So $54,000 year over year recurring.
Right, but he already has 50.
But he has it
You're talking
this
about $4,000, yeah.
Okay.
And he put it in
That's
his budget.
all we needed to hear on the, I think we could have probably done this last time, but we didn't know.
Well, nobody asked me before.
Oh, yeah,
so
it's
I
okay,
didn't-
we got it, it's all right.
I thought it was-
Any other discussion on this one? Does that wait a second?
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. ECC, same thing.
I can answer your question.
Go ahead.
He's even-
Is there a motion?
Motion to
Second.
approve it and waive the second reading.
Second, okay, go ahead.
Mr. Guthrie's provided some numbers. We've looked at them. It's about 36.5 a year. He put 60,000 extra in his
Good.
overtime because he had other overtime line on, so it looks like he. put
Okay,
it-
so we're good, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Opioid funds, mail scanner, multi-year agreement. Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hold on, let me look through these.
Give me
I
answer.
think,
Give me answer the opioid one. number four.
yeah, okay,
Concerns.
I will, does this need a vote?
No, it's just to bring it to your
So
attention.
just go ahead and
There was,
go through.
there was two concerns. One was the reappointment of the committee. It was handled in the previous committee. The second one is all of the opioid contracts require an audit function to be audited. Not physically by a CPA firm, but somebody to go back and review. We need that to be clarified. Probably needs to go back to legislative though. So I just recommend it be sent back to legislative to clarify that.
Is doing that gonna hold anything up?
No, we just need to basically kill it off this committee and
Motion
also
to
do
move,
it
motion to send forward this to legislative.
And what are we sending it for? Just
to clarify and get rules for who and how the opioid fund is going to be internally audited. There's nothing in place right now.
My motion is forward.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Development grant approval, this, dollar match. What is this?
Yes.
Well, we
You missed
approved
that.
this in legislative, mayor can speak.
Okay, Mr. Mayor.
This is just permission to apply for the grant. It's a historical grant for the old courthouse. We're still working on the plan, but we're
Do you
under
need
a
anything from
timeline.
this, do you need anything from this, since it's been
It's a 50-50 match, so it's a $500,000 grant.
Up
And if
to.
we-
up
Yeah,
to?
up to.
So, but this isn't,
We're
we're
still
not,
in the
we're not,
approval.
Yeah.
okay.
But I think he needs a
Motion.
resolution
We
to
gotta
apply.
send
don't
it
you?
to
Got it,
John.
got it.
Right.
He needs a resolution to apply for them.
Motion to approve it, motion to
Second.
That's
draft
just
resolution to
apply.
allow
It'll
him
come
to
back
apply.
to you.
No, I get it. Motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. City of Portland local option sales tax, what do we need to do on this?
It passed legislative, and all they're doing is asking for permission to put it on the referendum to recapture that.
So they're asking us for the same thing that we were gonna ask the state for. All right, hey, listen,
They're one
I
of
will
those same
never-
things, Jonathan.
yeah, look, I won't, I'm not afraid to put anything to referendum motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously.
7 failed legislative, I believe.
Okay, so it failed?
Yeah.
Needs
Then
to be
let's just, then I think we pull it. All right, tax refunds.
Too bad.
I'd entertain a motion to group and approve.
Motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Second, oh, go ahead, Mr.
Appreciate the last meeting with you guys. Nice
Oh.
working with you.
Yeah.
Last budget
We
meeting. I'll
forgot
see you
your
Monday.
bouquet of
I will
presents.
see you guys Monday in commission. For the last budget meeting, it's been good working with you.
Hey, thank you very much, Mr. Long.
Been a good group to work with all of you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
David, you want dinner?
You
want dinner? Oh, okay. All right.
Appreciate you asking though, man.
Did we need to wait a second on adjournment?
Did you?
I appreciate you
Are you gonna do the
asking.
happy hour?
Hey, Matt.
Happy hour?
You want the-
Maybe, I gotta drive back up to.
Matt, I'm so sorry.
You got
I
it
didn't-
right.
I'm so sorry I didn't call you.
No.
I
So
know, I was-
I had this, no, I messed up. I had, there's even a text, I should have voiced this, you weren't gonna mention yesterday. I said,